Let's begin with the module number 27 on the generic perspectives about strategy. We have learned the first perspective, that is the classical perspective on strategy. We will discuss rest of the three perspectives on a strategy. I will come back to this figure whenever it is facilitating us to understand what is on the vertical axis, what is on the horizontal axis. The second perspective on a strategy is that a strategy is evolutionary. What we mean by evolutionary and where it stands on the diagram or figure of the four perspectives on a strategy. So evolutionary is something which means it is a purpose is profit maximizing and it is emergent. So when we say it's a profit maximizing and emergent, the opposite of emergent was it is deliberate. So emergent is something which is by default or by the contextual factors is coming out of those forces. The best explanation for the evolutionary comes from the sciences or biological sciences. You might have heard about Darwin, a scientist in 1809 to 1885. So during this time, he was born and lived his life, and he offered Darwinism or Darwinian theory of survival or evolution. So if you look at the figure here or the picture, so the crux of Darwinian's theory of evolution focuses on the elimination of inferior species gradually over time. Make it short. If you really want to understand, in three words, it is survival for the fittest. According to the Darwinian theory, the fittest species or the people who are fittest or the organizations who are fittest or the products who are fittest or the employees who are fittest, only they survive. So this is based on the evolutionary biological perspective, and some further explanation will also help us to understand this perspective about a strategy. So markets are too volatile for long-term planning. The other theories, they are deliberate. For example, the first one, it means that the market is stable, you understand what's going on, and you plan a strategy. On the other hand, this evolutionary perspective suggests that market is volatile. It is changing every day. Customer preferences, new competitors are coming, economical situations, health situations. How can you plan something when you don't know about the future? So markets are too volatile for long-term planning. Since a strategy is a long-term planning, that's why according to this perspective, it is hard to plan something in advance for the next 5-10 years. Recently, in the COVID-19, you people have seen that people have lost their jobs, people have lost their businesses. One of the founder of Airbnb, one of the most famous company, his chief executive officer said that it took me 10 years to build my brand, Airbnb, and it took only 6 months to vanish my brand. So how can you plan something for long term when the market is volatile? So successful strategies are dependent on the ability of managers to react effectively on daily basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, whenever market is changing. So they react to the market changes. So this, according to this perspective, the strategy is emergent. Strategy is evolutionary. So you are keep on changing, and the aim of a strategy is to maximize profits. So this is very similar to the other perspectives, that this is also the first perspective. The aim is to maximize profits. The third generic perspective on a strategy is processual. So this perspective highlights the imperfect nature of organizations. Strategy here accommodates internal and external factors, and the term emergent is often used to describe its perspective. So let's look at the diagram and we see where is processual. So processual is emergent, and it is plural. When we say plural, it means that there are more than one goals or one purpose or purposes of a strategy. It's not only to maximize profit. There can be more than one purpose or one objectives of a strategy. Now let's look at the last one, that is systematic views. In this perspective, a strategy is linked with local social systems. The aim is to achieve more than one outcomes, and multinationals may specify strategies to adapt different local circumstances. So multinationals, they are working in different countries, different places, different part of the world. So they might see strategy, or they might have multiple strategies for multiple countries. So according to this way, it's a systematic view or systemic view of the strategy. Let's conclude what I have talked about these four perspectives. What you need to understand is these perspectives distinct but not mutually exclusive. They are distinct, but you might see that they are having something in common. So strategy is developed and evolves over time. And the last thing, the challenge could be to find the best blend at any time in a given situation. Thank you.